something new comes along, everybody wants a bite. Don't happen overnight. So you wanna be a rock superstar and live large, big house, buy cars.
We are attributing this to Carmelo
Yup.
Anthony.
Oh, in damn deedy. I know you guys don't know, but we know that Carmelo Anthony just went nuts. What, he scored 43 points?
43.
In overtime to beat the Chicago Bulls in one of the best thrillers of the year so far. That was phenomenal.
That was totally phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. It's been a great day for me personally. My New York Mets, 3-0. We want to wish you all a very happy holiday weekend. Happy Passover.
Happy Easter.
Very religious weekend. God bless everybody. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for 3-0. I'm grateful for my only closer of my fantasy team having 3 saves in Frankie Francisco. I'm just, I'm the guru, man.
And ironically, the Yankees are on the verge of being 0-3.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You see, what a great day for me. Knicks win, Mets sweep the Braves, the Yankees are getting kicked around. I love it. I'm a happy guy.
Fortunately, we were able to enjoy the Knicks thing together. But,
Yes, one of the rare things. And why don't you just tell them that was phenomenal. The Knicks beat the Bulls 100-99. Take it away.
What I saw was a team that's, out of the words of Van Gundy and the likes of the other announcers on there saying how great this team's defense is, what I saw was a team locked down the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference when it counted.
That's right, and Derrick Rose was playing today. He was back, and I don't want to hear anything about him being hurt now. He's fully healthy and ready to go.
They did the opposite of what every other team ever does, which is most teams try to rush guys back,
right.
And there's this perpetual re-injury situation. He was out for 12 games, like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even over a month, who knows. He's healthy, man.
He's healthy.
He had 29 points, I think.
Which is also a huge testament to Tom Thibodeau, and why I said even last episode that we were on that he should be Coach of the Year again back-to-back.
Yeah.
And he would be the first ever to win back-to-back from what I heard, which would be really interesting. But he deserves it. I can't think of a coach better than him right now in the league, especially from the defensive standpoint. And they were great, especially in the second half. The Bulls played excellent defense, and they really held the Knicks down because the Knicks jumped out to a huge lead right away.
A huge lead.
Yeah, and you said the defense was just unreal, and especially Iman Shumpert, who held down Derrick Rose at the end of the fourth quarter and at the end of overtime for the Knicks to seal that victory.
And I'm not going to, I try not to do too much Knicks bias and stuff, but Van Gundy was once a Knicks coach, but out of his mouth to the man upstairs' ears said that Iman Shumpert takes a backseat to nobody in terms of wing defense, and have the luxury of that defensive matchup against someone as quick and maneuverable, if that's a word.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a good one, too.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. And, we put the focus on Iman Shumpert a lot, but also a guy you got to talk about is Tyson Chandler, no doubt. I mean, he could be the defensive player of the year in the NBA. The way he's playing right now.
There are no words to Tyson.
He's brought the championship attitude over. He's brought the pedigree, everything that you could want. He's been the model New York Knick, and I love it. And he had 2 huge offensive tip-outs at the end over there, so the Knicks can go ahead and win that game in overtime. He tipped it out to J.R. Smith a couple of times at the end.
Which he does every game.
All the time.
The tip out. I mean, again, things like that don't show up in the box
score. They really
score.
don't. It just shows up as another rebound, but it's more than that.
I'm not sure if it counts as a rebound for him or the guy who catches it.
I think it's him, but either way, whatever, you're right. It doesn't show up the right way.
It doesn't show up. And
Those are the intangibles.
And that's one of the reasons why I love Jerry Jeffries, too. And thank God he's back, because he's a very similar type player. Less impactful in terms of the statistics,
scoring and stuff. Yeah, he doesn't really score.
He's a piece. He's a good piece.
The Knicks, look, and the Knicks are definitely playing really well as a team right now. They beat up the Orlando Magic a few days ago, and we should spend a couple of minutes on that situation, because one of the more awkward moments in TV history was when Stan Van Gundy was basically outing Dwight Howard, saying that he heard from upper management that Dwight wants Stan Van Gundy out, and then before you know it, Dwight, who's 900 feet taller than him, walks over and puts his arm around Stan, who's like this big, and and Stan is like drinking his drink, and he just can't wait to get out of there.
All the awkward moments we've seen in sports television history, that is up there.
That's up there.
That was really awkward. And then, you know what happened? The Knicks took care of him the way they've been taking care of teams, especially that one. They blew him off the floor again.
Right, and Dwight Howard was just not part of that game. He was obviously mentally out of it, because, that happened that afternoon pregame, and then you go right into that Knick game, and he scored only 8 points, and he looked like he didn't want any part of it. So
you know what I loved about that game, though? We've been going back and forth about our Knicks, on this wonderful podcast we do. And I seem to have a little bit of a kind of like a fan favorite situation, and you have your kind of fan favorite. And I think it's very interesting the on-court rapport these two have, which is my guy is Novak, your guy is J.R. Smith, and these two love each other.
Yeah, they
on
do.
the court.
Yeah, it's very.
They,
you're right.
They know where each other is or are, or whatever right grammar goes for that, and they find each other and they bang it home, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Props to us for both of those guys. Because
I guess so.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, the team unity of the Knicks, because at the end of that game that just ended a few minutes ago, you had Carmelo Anthony in the middle leading the whole team in a post-game huddle after a tremendous win. And again, he scored 43 points, and he's been on fire. He's taken the team on his back now with Jeremy Lin being out, Amari Stoudemire being out. Very interesting to see when and if those guys do come back, for the playoffs and everything, how that will all merge together. Because, again, we discussed last time how they've been playing better in the absence of some of their better players.
Right, and I give a lot of the credit to the whole team camaraderie thing, to Tyson Chandler. Mike Woodson has totally... I was never really... I was kind of ambiguous towards him. Wasn't a fan, wasn't not a fan, didn't really know much about him other than he's a defensive coach. He's been... I love him. I hope they give him the job. He actually played for the Knicks for a little while when he was a player.
He deserves the job that you mentioned it now.
But I'll tell you what, you said before Tom Thibodeau should be the coach of the year. You know who's not going to be coach of the year? The guy who walked out on the Knicks, who I defended for years, Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get that in.
Yeah,
he's not going to be coach of the year. You know how you don't get coach of the year? By quitting.
By quitting, and that's what he did. And again, it's hard to blame him. He knew he was going to get fired at some point, but the way he did it was kind of backdoor resigning. But yeah.
And actually, while we're talking about quitting, and we'll divert right back to the basketball. Just something recent in recent sports events that's happened. Talk about karma. Talk about quitting, coming back to bite you, and you know what? Bobby Petrino, the Arkansas Razorbacks coach. With this ridiculous motorcycle passenger gate situation.
He's getting killed.
You know what, though? Karma came back because he walked out on the Falcons when he got a job because the whole situation went down Michael Vick, and he walked.
That's right. People forget that he did.
And the bigger lesson there is just quitters don't... You just don't win.
Right. It comes back to get you.
At some point, it's going to come back to you, and Mike D'Antoni, hopefully it doesn't come back in that way, because that was pretty bad. Petrino looks like a mess.
Right.
But I just thought it fit.
No, that fits. That absolutely fits. No doubt about it.
But the Knicks, the Knicks, I'll tell you what, man, they're playing the Bulls again on Tuesday night.
That's right.
And,
in Chicago this time.
In Chicago this time, a day or two apart. Let's say the Knicks pull this off. Does that give any ray of light if the Knicks have the 8 seed and they play them in the playoffs?
I think so, but that's only until Amari and Lin come back, because then it's all going to fall apart. And it's not their fault. It's just, when the good players come back, something bad happens. They need time to regroup. So, I'm kidding, obviously, but all joking aside, the way that they're playing now, especially given the fact that Miami's not playing that well, and, the Celtics are playing, they're doing their job, but the Magic are in disarray. Yeah, why not? Do I believe they're going to go all the way? No, I'm being realistic about it, but the facts are that the Knicks are playing better than most teams right now in the entire league.
And I'll tell you what, Philly's lost a few games in a row here, lost 3 in a row, and with the Knicks win today, they're a half game behind Philly for the 7 seed.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. Do you want the Knicks playing the Bulls in the first round or the Heat?
No, I'd much prefer them to play the Bulls.
Same here.
That's a great question.
Same here.
Especially given what I've seen today, knowing that their really only predominant scorer is Derrick Rose, and knowing that Iman Shumpert, I'm not going to say he's going to lock him down and hold him to 15, 16 points a game, but if anybody can guard Derrick Rose, it's Shumpert.
Yeah, we don't have an official Shumpert Island yet, but but hopefully we get there.
Yeah, we do got to come up with a name for him. We really should.
Shumpert's Corner.
I don't know. We'll give us some time on that. We'll come back. Iman's got to fit somehow. Like I'm the man. No. Okay. Let's move on. Anyway. All right. So let's just jump to the Western Conference.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
We're working spontaneous over here. We don't have cue cards.
But they're only a half game behind Philly now, and Orlando's only a sniff ahead of that, and they just took 2 from Orlando, so I think they're probably on the tiebreaker there.
Right.
Who knows?
And it all falls with divisions and stuff like that.
Maybe they get to 6. They get to 6, man. I'll be loving life.
Is that Indiana in the 3rd slot?
Yeah. If they get 6, they get Indiana. That's a matchup. I would look forward to that matchup, and we'd be probably having Knicks second-round conversations.
And you know what? For the Knicks have played the Pacers 3 times in the past about week and a half to a couple of weeks, and they took the first 2. They really smashed them up pretty good a couple of weeks ago. And then they had played recently, and the Knicks were dominating them, and the Pacers came back in the 4th quarter, led behind Granger.
They smashed them up for a little bit. It would have been the same result if not a debacle of a 4th
Right, that's the thing. So it looks like, to your point, it looks like the Knicks have the edge over the Pacers in that regard. The edge in the Western Conference still, to me, is Oklahoma City Thunder, but San Antonio snuck in the #1 slot now.
Yeah.
You know, they just keep playing great. They've won 10 in a row.
Here's the thing, though.
10 in a row.
Last year, well, didn't they win 10 or 11 in a row earlier in the
Yeah,
season?
they just seem to do that all the time. They're like Joe DiMaggio. They have like a long streak and they stop for a game and keep going.
But last year, here's the thing about last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, were they the 1 seed? They had an
yeah, they were
outstanding...
the 1 seed. They got knocked out the first round.
They had an outstanding regular season, and they blew it up. I don't know if...
It was the Grizzlies who beat them.
Was Manu or Parker hurt in the playoffs?
Well, they were both a little banged up. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what you worry about with a team like that.
Yeah.
Is so they're going to hold up. And even Tim Duncan, who's been healthy all year, because Greg Popovich, again, we've discussed, he's an unbelievable coach. And he knows when to rest his guys. And he doesn't care if he gets blown out by Portland earlier in the season like he did by 40 points.
Right.
Because Duncan needed a rest. And he knows it's one regular season game. He knows there'll be a 1, 2, 3 seed. And you have to beat the best teams when you get in.
Right.
So when you do break, it's like when you talk about the Knicks, I want them to have a 6, 7, or 8 seed. Yes, it'd be better for them to go up, obviously. It's nicer to play, a Magic or the Hawks as opposed to the Heat or the Bulls in the first round. But eventually you're going to run into these teams anyway. So
That's true.
Do you get them out of the way early when you're hot?
That's what I was just going to say is, can you imagine let's say they get the Bulls, for instance. Let's say they get the 8 seed. Let's say they beat the Bulls. They kind of clear their own path to a certain degree.
Almost. They would only have to obviously worry about the Heat for the most part. I'm not, not only, but yeah.
But you know what? Teams like Philly that scrap the way they do,
I don't know about Philly.
I don't know about Philly either, but they play hard for Doug Collins, and they have the scrappiness about them to maybe take out a team like Miami. Maybe.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think so. I disagree because they're clearly not deep enough. They're really too deep, and maybe a third. I don't know. Iguodala plays well and Brand plays well, but outside of that, I don't really see much out of them. So I don't really see them being a threat. But let's just jump back into the Western Conference real quick again because you got San Antonio 1, Oklahoma City 2, and then the Lakers and Clippers 3 and 4.
The Battle of LA. Yeah,
the Battle of LA over there. They're just half a game apart actually. Memphis still, I was surprised. I wasn't sure if they were even going to make the playoffs this year. I thought maybe last year was kind of flukish a little bit because they got really hot, but they're sitting at 5 right now. And they were just 1 game away from going to the Western Conference Finals against.
And here's the thing about Memphis too is they're a really good defensive team.
Yeah.
And in particular with the steals, I remember last year watching. I think it might have been the Spurs series where Tony Allen, I believe, is the guard there, and who's the point guard? The lefty from Ohio State.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Oh man, clear my
yeah.
I
You
gotta click on it real quick.
But the two of it's something junior. It's something junior. The two of them are unbelievable with taking the ball away from teams, and Rudy Gay also. They'll just keep taking the ball away from you, and it's impressive, man. So you never know. A team like Memphis, I look at them as maybe even more than we'll say a scrappy team.
I guess you never do know. OJ Mayo he doesn't start for them anymore, does he?
No, but he's long.
Yeah, they got Mike Conley, Gilbert Arenas sits on the
Conley
bench.
Jr.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
So Conley,
Marcus Gasol is obviously a good player too. You can't take anything away from him.
Absolutely.
So they got players, and we'll see. Like I said, I think it's going to be the Thunder coming out of there, but time will tell. You want to hit on the Masters for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What we got?
Well, what we got? Let's see. Who's running away with this right now?
Try and pronounce his name first.
I don't know. I don't speak Dutch, first of all, or whatever that is, or German. I'm not sure, but it seems like it's Oosthuizen. It sounds like either a really bad cold or a car from Germany.
Oosthuizen. That's great.
I'm sorry. How do you pronounce it?
I don't know. That's why I want you to do it.
So you threw it on me. I apologize, Heinendorfen-Flagen. I don't know how to say the name. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't even read.
Let's just call him Lewis.
All right, Lewis is good. Is that his first name?
It's either Louis or Louis.
Hey, Louis.
It's one of the
Louis-O. Louis-O. He's got it's an O-O. Louis-O, eh? All right, so Louis winning right now. Good for Louis.
Louis-O, but you know what? Here's the strange thing about Louis-O winning or leading. Phil raged yesterday in the back nine.
Yeah.
And he is just falling apart. He's pulling his U.S. Open strategy in the Masters, which is not normal for him. Speaking of which, not normal.
Who else fell apart?
Dude, Tiger Woods,
yeah,
man.
He's the guy.
Everyone was so excited. Oh, it's going to come down to him and Rory. Well, guess what? They both they both finished at +5. +5.
Oh, look, do I get to watch this live right now? Is that right? Ben Crane. Look at this live interactive stuff they got going on over
phenomenal.
here. Oh, here's the leaderboard. All right, beautiful. Let me click on that real quick. All right, Oosthuizen's winning. And Kuchar, I hope that's an easier name.
Yeah.
Bubba Watson, he's a big lefty, right?
Yeah,
he's up there.
Bubba's good. Bubba's good. I was actually
Bubba.
I was hoping it was going to come down to the because I'm lefty, so I'm affectionate towards them. I was hoping it would be Phil and Bubba going down the stretch, but no such luck.
Nope, sorry.
How far back is Phil now? Is he even there?
Phil's so far back I can't even find his name. He's a
Phil,
goner.
where
Scott
are you?
Van Pelt is ahead of him. Oh, that's not Scott Van Pelt. Oh. All right. Well, anyway.
Isn't Scott Van Pelt the quarterback?
Yeah, that's right. Quarterback for the Johnny Utahs. All right. So I'm really not into golf too much, so I don't really
Johnny
care who wins. To be
Utahs.
honest with you, it really doesn't make a difference to me.
Johnny Utah, I believe, won the championship at Ohio State.
Didn't he?
In his dreams in a movie.
Big lefty.
On the big screen.
That's right.
On the big screen.
You gotta love Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to wrap that up with the golf talk real quick because we don't have much to say other than Patrick Harrington is trying to make a run right now, but Phil finished, what? He's 5 under? Well, not finished. He's still going.
But with a name like Uschenschnazen,
Yeah.
how is anyone going to win?
9 under is Uschenschnazen.
And Uschenschnazen, he has a major under his belt. I forget if it was
Does
a
he?
Masters or if it was a U.S. Open, but he won a major a year or two ago. So,
Really?
Yeah, he's actually pretty
See,
good.
I got to keep up with this golf stuff.
He's actually a pretty good golfer. I'm curious to find
Well, it's
out.
not a sport, so I don't follow it. You know?
It's not a sport. It's a highly skilled game.
It is a very highly skilled
And
game.
you people can argue with us all you want, but you'll never get it. And I'll tell you what, I'll be very, very straight with you. Carrying a 40-pound bag, which your caddy carries 5 miles, does not qualify as a sport.
No, it definitely
Just
does
saying.
not.
Just saying.
There's no doubt
Just
about it.
saying. Just saying.
Yeah,
Especially when caddy carries it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I've had my golf bag sitting in my trunk for like 3 years now. I'm like too embarrassed to get out there. I got a hole-in-one in pitch and putt one time. 80 yards? No kidding. That's a good shot still. It was 80 yards away. I knocked it right in.
That's really good.
Not bad, right?
I almost got my club in the hole 80 yards away. Because that's what I want to do when I'm on the golf course, is break all the
I love it.
clubs.
Well done, my friend.
Kind of punt it like Tiger punted his 9-iron the other day.
Hey, we're going to come back and talk some baseball
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I want to talk about New York baseball because the Mets are winning, the Yankees aren't. All right, so I'm going to rub it in a little bit because I know that you're going to be rubbing it in at the end of the season, so I'm getting my shots in while I can.
Do you have any brown paper bags in your trunk? I hope so.
Yes.
I can wear over
Right
my
over
head.
your head?
So you're talking about the Mets, and I'll be the,
You know
the
what?
Yankee.
That sounds good because maybe some of the ladies will stick around longer. They don't have to look at your face.
That's true.
Perfect.
That's true.
I love it.
I'm glad you said that.
All right, so
Thank
let's
you
come
very
back in a
much.
few.
All right, let's do it.
Later.